Jan Leroux, Chief Executive of the Real Estate Business Owners of South Africa, REBOSA, publicly and emphatically backed the Property Practitioners Regulatory Authority's PPRA Chief Executive, Thato Ramaile, during a period of industrial unrest at the authority, a move that surprised many, given REBOSA's earlier often adversarial posture towards the PPRA. Property professional. What followed was a visible thawing of relations. Mr. Leroux authored industry commentary that read as broadly supportive of the PPRA's leadership and priorities, and Ms. Ramaile has been a regular attendee and speaker at REBOSA-linked events. At the same time, industry chatter and social media commentary began to allege gifts, hospitality, and other benefits flowing between REBOSA and the PPRA leadership. Claims that, if true, would raise obvious conflict of interest questions. Those allegations remain, in public records and mainstream reporting, unproven. PPRA.org.za. Why this matters. The law, the portals, and practitioners must follow South Africa's Property Practitioners Act, PPA 2019, and its regulations set clear standards for advertising, disclosure, and professional conduct. Two parts are especially relevant to the concerns now being aired. The Act's mandatory disclosure rule, which makes disclosure to prospective buyers, tenants, a precondition for accepting a mandate, is explicit. A property practitioner must not accept a mandate unless the seller or lessor has provided a fully completed mandatory disclosure. Government of South Africa. The regulations ban misleading marketing and false statements. The regulations state, in terms that speak directly to online listings and portal practices, that no estate agent shall prepare, make, or assist any other person to prepare or make any false statement. They also forbid marketing at a price other than that agreed with the seller and other misleading conduct. Government of South Africa. Taken together, those provisions mean if a property is advertised with incorrect location details, with the address withheld to obscure ownership or locality, or at inconsistent prices across different listings, the advert, and the practitioner behind it, may be running afoul of the PPA and its regulations. Section 63 also gives the minister and the PPRA the power to declare and ban undesirable practices in the property market. Government of South Africa. The portals named in the debate, who owns them, and what we can verify, the two biggest consumer portals in South Africa, Property 24 and Private Property, long have dominated the online classifieds market. Property 24 is part of the Naspers/Media 24 group, and in 2016, Property 24 agreed to acquire Private Property. That consolidation left a small number of large platforms controlling most digital property listings. IOL industry stakeholders have for years complained that portals can host listings with incomplete location data, inconsistent pricing, or incorrect agent details, problems that make consumer protections harder to enforce and may enable practitioners to circumvent the PPA's mandatory disclosure and advertising rules. Those complaints have sparked calls for portals to be better regulated or to be required to interface directly with the PPRA, so listings are tied to verified Fidelity Fund certificates. Facebook note on ownership claims. Public corporate records and mainstream reporting indicate Property 24 sites under Naspers/Media 24. We found no credible public documentary evidence that REBOSA's CEO is a major stakeholder in Property 24 or Private Property. Assertions in industry chatter that Jan Leroux is a major stakeholder in those portals were not substantiated in mainstream filings or news reporting available to us. Naspers. What is alleged about gifts, assets, and conduct, and what is verified allegation, circulating in industry social channels. After the relationship between REBOSA and the PPRA's leadership warmed, the PPRA CEO is said to have received gifts or hospitality from REBOSA and, in short order, to have acquired several high-value motor vehicles. What we found? These claims are circulating in industry conversations and on social media, but we could not locate independent, reputable reporting, public declarations, asset registers, or government HR disclosures that confirm the receipt of undeclared gifts or the purchase registration of the vehicles in question. The PPRA's public notices and press releases do not disclose any such gifts, nor is there a public, searchable gift register published by PPRA visible in official material reviewed. Public sector good practice normally requires gift/hospitality declaration. PPRA.org.za. Allegation: portal non-compliance. property portals routinely host listings that obscure addresses, display multiple prices for the same property, or list incorrect localities. Practices that could breach the PPA's advertising and disclosure provisions. What we found: there is documented industry concern and sector commentary about inconsistent listings and the challenge of policing portal data, and the law's advertising disclosure clauses would appear applicable to those problems. What is not established by public reporting is whether the portals are systematically non-compliant or whether specific practitioners have been disciplined by the PPRA for particular listings. Legal levers and the public interest. The PPA provides enforcement tools. The authority can investigate, issue compliance notices, withdraw fidelity fund certificates, impose fines, and the minister can declare undesirable market practices under Section 63. If portals or practitioners are enabling or profiting from misleading listings, those statutory tools can and should be deployed. The law also contemplates that relationships between market participants and regulators be transparent to avoid the appearance or reality of partiality. Political and governance implications. Why this story matters beyond the sector. What we are seeing is more than an industry spat. It is a test of regulatory independence and public trust. When a sector lobbyist effectively becomes a public cheerleader for a regulator's chief, and when at the same time, portals continue to host listings that pose compliance and consumer protection risks. Citizens have a right to ask whether enforcement is even-handed, whether conflicts of interest have been declared and managed, and whether the regulator is being captured by the sector it is meant to police. Those are questions for Parliament, for the Minister of Human Settlements, and for the PPRA's board. If verified, the allegations of gifts or undisclosed benefits would trigger public sector ethics rules and require an independent probe. If untrue, the allegations still point to a transparency gap that must be closed. Section 63 gives the state the statutory means to declare and prohibit harmful market practices, a power that now looks particularly relevant. Government of South Africa. Short legal quotes, for clarity: a property practitioner must not accept a mandate unless the seller or lessor has provided a fully completed mandatory disclosure. PPA S.67. Government of South Africa. No estate agent shall prepare, make, or assist any other person to prepare or make any false statement. Property Practitioners Regulations, Advertising Marketing Duties. Government of South Africa. Bottom line, editorial close, political. In democracies, the legitimacy of regulators rests on impartiality and transparency. The seeming rapprochement between a powerful trade body, REBOSA, and the regulator, PPRA, following a period of public support by the former for the latter's CEO, must be subjected to clear, independent scrutiny. Where the law is plain, disclosure, honest advertising, no false statements, modest industry convenience cannot be allowed to hollow out consumer protections. If the state is to be the steward of this market, it must act like one. Publish gift registers, enforce the PPA's advertising rules against bad actors, including online platforms where appropriate, and invite parliamentary oversight so South Africans can be certain that the property watchdog is watching all participants, not just the powerful.